Hi everyone, how are you doing? This time in this video we're going to be looking at the Dell on Milton Road, which quite obviously was the home of Southampton F.C. between 1898 and 2001. George Thomas, a fish merchant who had been appointed as a director of the limited company when it was formed in the summer of 1896, who lived in Shirley, saw the potential of the cleared site and purchased the land from the DNSR by the beginning of the 1898-99 season. Thomas had incurred expenditure of between £7,500 and £9,000 on acquiring and clearing the site, and erected the new stands and agreed an initial 3-year lease to the football club at a rental of £250 per annum. The Dell had been drained with 13,000 feet of pipe being laid, all draining into the central culvert formed from the Rosebrook stream. The playing field had to be levelled and the ground made up and turfed ready for the opening of the new season. At this stage the new ground did not have an official name. There were various names suggested, including the Fitzhugh Dell, the Archers Ground and Milton Park, but gradually the ground became known by default as the Dell. The stadium was opened in September 1898, with the inaugural match on the 3rd of September being against Brighton United. The first goal at the stadium was scored by Watty Kay, I hope that's right, with the others from Abbey Hartley, Jim Mackenzie and Tom Smith, as Southampton won 4-1. It hosted an international match in 1901 as England defeated Ireland 3-0 in the 1900 and 1901 British Home Championship. In 1927 the original West Stand was demolished together with the club secretary's house, and the new West Stand was built. This was designed by Archibald Leach, one of the greatest football stand designers of the day, who had also designed stands at Fratton Park, Roker Park and at Goodison Park. A year later, on the last day, the 1928-29 season, a dropped cigarette caused a fire which destroyed the East Stand. A replacement stand was built which mirrored the West Stand, increasing the ground capacity to approximately 30,000 spectators. As if the place hadn't had any bad luck already, on the 30th of November 1940 a German bomb fell on the stadium during the Blitz, creating an 18-foot crater in the Milton Road penalty area. While the pitch was being restored, Southampton had to play their remaining fixtures in 1940-41 away, although in February 1941 they played a home War Cup tie with Brentford at Fratton Park. Portsmouth. In March 1941, an explosion of munitions stored at the ground caused a major fire in the West Stand, although this was rebuilt soon afterwards, not really having much luck at all there. At the start of the 1941-42 season, they played their home games at Dew Lane, Eastleigh, before the Dell was reopened in October 1941. In 1950, the Dell became the first ground in England to have permanent floodlighting installed. The first game played under the lights was on the 31st of October 1950 in a friendly against Bournemouth and Boscombe Athletic, followed a year later by the first official match under floodlights, a football combination, in other words reserve team match, against Tottenham Hotspur on the 1st of October 1951. During the post-war years, huge crowds packed into the Dell. The attendance record was broken on the 8th of October 1961 when 31,044 watched Southampton lose 3-0 to Manchester United, which included George Best and Bobby Charlton. The stadium hosted First Division football for the first time in the 1966-67 season, and would do so for all but 4 of the 35 seasons leading up to its closure. During this time, Southampton won the FA Cup in 1976 and achieved their highest league finish of second place in 1984. In the 1980s there were several changes at the ground, with the makeshift chocolate boxes at the Milton end being replaced by a new stand used for family ticket holders a two-level concrete structure. The standing areas under the east and west stands being fitted with bench seats before the Dell became an all-seater stadium in the early 1990s in the wake of the Hillsborough disaster on the 15th of April 1989, which obliged all clubs in the top two English divisions to have all-seater stadiums. New stands were erected at both ends of the stadium, but by the 1993-1994 season, the stadium now had a capacity of just over 15,000, the smallest in the top level of English football. The Milton Road stand was notable for its wedge-like appearance. Now, by this time, Southampton F.C. were looking for a new home. By the mid-1990s, it seemed as though the search was over as the club announced plans to move to a new stadium at Monts Brook, playing fields near the village of North Stoneham, Eastleigh. However, the club fell into a dispute with the local council about the lack of community facilities. Many people in Eastleigh were also unhappy with having another town's football club in their area. How dare you? The dispute was resolved when the chairman, Rupert Lowe, declared new plans for the club to move to a new 32,000-seater stadium for a cost of £32 million on Britannia Road on the banks of the River Itchen. The move was confirmed by the end of the 1998-99 season when Southampton achieved a late escape from relegation for the sixth time in 8 seasons, and work began soon afterwards. The new St Mary's Stadium was ready for the 2001-2002 season. On the 4th of April 2001, the first ever football aid event took place at the Dell, including former players Jimmy Case and Peter Rodriguez. The last confirmed hat-trick was scored during this game by Bryn Thomas. On the 19th of May 2001, midfielder Matt Le Tissier, who retired from football playing a year later, said goodbye to the stadium that had been the host of his entire professional career by scoring a volley in the final minutes of the final league game, securing a 3-2 win against Arsenal. Le Tissier thus has the distinction of scoring the last competitive goal at the Dell. On the 26th of May, the club's fans said goodbye to the Dell by stripping all of its seats, the pitch and even an advertising board after Southampton's last game at the stadium, a 1-0 victory in a friendly against Brighton and Hove Albion, the first and last opponents at the stadium. The Dell was demolished later, completed on Friday the 13th of July 2001 by Portsmouth-based demolition company Hughes and Salvage. A housing estate was later built on the site by Barratt Homes. The apartment blocks on the site bear the names of former Southampton players Stokes Court, Ted Bates Court, Le Tissier Court, Wallace Court and Channon Court. The site includes a green space that occupies an area of the former centre circle. And there you have it. There is full time, unfortunately, folks, on this story. I do hope that you found it interesting. If you have, please give it a like and give it a share. Subscribe if you want to, entirely up to you. As long as you give it a like and a share, that's fine by me. So until the next video, take care.